everybody. Sorry, for some reason my video isn't working. But I am the Director of Programs for the Native American Agriculture Fund and here to answer some of your questions. We also have Graham Gaither, who is more than happy to answer questions as well. We really hope that you found some good information in our webinar. We do have, if you go to our website, we do have information. If you click on the 2023 RFA, there are some frequently asked questions that we have on there. If you want to peel through that and see if there's anything that might be helpful to you in this process, then awesome, please do so. There we go. Hi. So yeah, if there's any questions right now that you can think of, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, thank you all so much for your time. We do have a question. Would NAF consider a grant application for barn restoration as long as it had to do with agriculture? I think that would come into, Graham, you can also chime in on this, but we have had grantees in the past that have had to enhance infrastructure and within their programming that specifically focuses on agriculture. That was something that we were interested in funding as long as it was tied to ag in a very specific way. So I think as long as it's not just we're restoring a barn to just restore a barn, as long as they're, maybe it's where you're storing. I think one of our grantees turned their barn actually into a greenhouse, restructured it into a greenhouse. And then another grantee, I believe, had restructured, it wasn't a barn, they restructured a facility to house all of their supplies and all of their seed. And so stuff like that, if it's directly impacting and tied to ag, then I think there's a way that we could work with that. Graham, you can chime in too.
I think 100% on the ball, on the money.
Cool. Cool. Well, wonderful. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to chime in. We are here. Oh, I thought that was another question. And like I said, if you want to pop onto our website, we have a plethora of information. We have our frequently asked questions listed. We have webinars, previously recorded webinars that you can also sit back and go through. But we're here if you have any other questions. If not, thank you all so much for attending our webinar today. Okay, we do have another question. See, I'm doing the slow talk to get you guys to pull out the questions, and it's working. This question is, hello, if we both apply for NAF General and Youth, but both applications include youth, will the general application not be considered? Graham, I'm going to toss this over to you.
Yeah, so it depends on a few different things. One of the major considerations is it the same project? If you are proposing the same project, one for general and one for youth, then one of them is not going to be considered. And more than likely, we will consider the youth project because it's a youth-focused project. If the project you are proposing for general is different, then we're going to look at it under its own merits. But I would definitely say if it's going to be 100% youth focused, then there's a chance that it will be moved over to youth and be effectively compared against your other project. So it really matters how much of a youth focus it has, and if you're essentially trying to do the same things with both of those applications.
Awesome. Thanks, Graham. I'm going to answer Christy's question and then I'll let you field Kelly's question. So we're a 501c3. We serve all natives of our area. Are we able to apply under our status, or do we have to get the tribal support letter? So as long as you are a nonprofit entity, if you're serving multiple tribal participants, you don't necessarily need a support letter from the tribe. If you're your own entity, you're a 501c3 and you're applying, it is if you're trying to if your nonprofit is partnering with the tribe and servicing the tribe specifically, then yes, you would need to get a tribal support letter. But if you have a program and a project all on your own that you would like to serve the surrounding area, and it's not tied specifically to this one tribe, then you're okay. That's correct, right, Graham? Okay, cool. All right, I'll let you grab Kelly's question.
Excellent. So Kelly asks, does NAF allow materials paid for by the grant to be sold, like workbook? Can the grant pay to print this workbook and then they sell it as part of their training? And short answer is yes. So you are definitely allowed to do whatever it is that you need to do to distribute that workbook, whether that is to give it out for free or to have others pay for it. But we definitely would recommend that you use the funds that you apply for to distribute and print that workbook. We don't disallow selling it, but I think you would see greater support if the funds you're applying for are also put towards making sure that those materials are given out and distributed to whoever it is you're serving. So just a consideration to have there.
Cool beans. Okay, we've got another question here for the youth focus. Do all of the youth need to be Native? We have a school on our land that hosts both Native and non-Native students. There's 26 students, 3 of them are Native, but this is held on our land, which we are Native based, and this would help our facilities. Not all of the youth need to be Native, as long as you're providing service to majority Native. And like you said, this is specific to your tribal lands and to your tribal people, then that is totally fine. I think it will go into detail if you do get funded and things like this in your reporting. But otherwise, we wouldn't say no because you have 3 non-tribal participants. Graham, do you want to grab Tracy's question?
Absolutely. So Tracy Stewart asks, is it okay for a proposed feasibility study to assess a variety of access to capital for the tribes that they serve, e.g. seaweed farming, greenhouse production? Absolutely. Yes, so access to capital comes in a variety of ways, but also a variety of timelines. So some folks are ready for shovel in the ground projects. They are ready to implement their stuff. And other tribes and tribal areas are like, what do? We don't even know. Like, we want to figure it out. And so absolutely, that's a great application request.
Yeah, these are great questions, y'all. We have a question from Anya. Can we request funding for equipment and building an infrastructure to house if the purpose is to support ranchers and therefore their capital access? It would be a shared equipment program. I believe this is something that we would potentially look at funding. You're increasing access to capital. You're allowing a facility specifically for farming and ranching. Just kind of keeping in mind what our cap is with whatever entity you're applying to. If it's going to cover that whole cost for that, I'm not sure, but yes, you can request for infrastructure.
And I'd just like to add on to that.
Yeah, I was going to say, are there specific parameters for that though, Graham?
I was going to say, we have some grantees who have done that, who have built sheds specifically used for shared equipment. They developed a shared equipment rental program by requesting funds from us, building the shed. And so we have, depending on if you're applying, how you're applying, which entity type you are, I recommend looking into the RFA and looking at the agriculture infrastructure special emphasis program. And that's going to align most closely with what it is you're requesting.
Awesome. I'll let you get the next one, Graham, from Christy.
Excellent. So Christy asks, for the general grant, is there any room for support for solar? We do not have any power and are looking for ways to be self-sustainable. This could go to help power sprinklers for our garden. Again, an excellent request. It's innovative. It's possibly even replicable, yeah, I think that's there's definitely room for support for solar, especially as it relates to powering the infrastructure that helps you do agriculture.
Awesome. I think that might be all of the questions. Unless you have a few more to wrap us up. Yeah, thank you guys for these questions. They've been amazing, and we really look forward to reading applications and seeing which projects are potentially going to be funded this year. And I said last time on our previous webinar, we really encourage you to think outside the box, like Graham said, something that can be replicated by other tribal communities, but definitely thinking, broader and getting creative with it. We love to see new ideas that can enhance native ag. So thank you guys so much for participating today. And I hope it was beneficial for you. And as always, you're more than welcome to go to our website and look at past webinars and our frequently asked questions page too.
Thank you all for having me. It was nice to answer questions.